This is the Travis Mills Show.
You're tapped into the Travis Mills Show right here on Apple Music One, and sitting across from me, I got the guys from Parcels on the show today. How you guys doing?
Yo.
There
How
we
you
go.
doing? We're on.
We got a room full of mics. We got
Yes.
the band in the studio. Stoked to have you guys on the show. It's your first time in the Apple Music studios as well.
Sure is.
First time.
Awesome, man. Well, we're going to be talking about obviously music, but all things Coachella as well. It was my first time ever going to Coachella.
Your first time?
This ever.
What do you mean?
Yeah, first time ever, man. I held out until 2025, and I
There
feel
you
like it was
go.
the perfect year to go.
I feel like a big one.
It really was. I mean, you want to know why, though? My birthday was on Saturday.
Okay.
So every year I've had my birthday during Coachella, and this spans back. So anytime I've ever set up a birthday dinner or anything to celebrate, my friends,
No one's
No
there.
one comes.
they've all been in the desert. So I've kind of had a little beef with Coachella.
Fair.
I'm not going to win that fight, though. So, like, you know,
Time to give in.
yeah, if you
and
can't
just
beat them,
join
join them.
That's it.
Yeah. Well, man,
Do you have a good time?
I had a great time.
Nice.
I definitely learned a lot of do's and don'ts. Felt a little bit like a fish out of water.
Okay.
Yeah, give us a do and a don't.
All right. A do would be bring a change of clothes.
You didn't. How long were you there for?
Let's do some obvious and not so obvious.
No, I mean like same day, man. Because like if you wear a shirt, and you're going to like watch sets during the day, by night you're sweating through that thing.
No, totally. Dressing is hard as well because the temperature just drops crazily at nighttime.
I'm not really.
Was
Yeah,
the
I'm not.
hottest on record too.
I'm not really a tank top guy. So like finding.
That's where you went wrong.
Yeah.
Tank top.
Become
always
a
there for
tank
you.
top man.
Yeah.
Well, you guys definitely had a standout performance at Coachella. You're here in the LA Apple Music Studios. I just appreciate you guys being here with me before, weekend two. We got another one on the books. Now, before we talk about your actual Coachella performance, what was a highlight for each of you when it came to last weekend?
For me, it was Lady Gaga's show. Like I went straight from our show and went and watched Lady Gaga. I was just like blown away with the production and the arrangements and like how they had made that thing. I don't know how many people and how much time that took, but on an artistic level and a production level, like next level stuff. So pretty inspiring.
I got to shout out my friend Tosh. He plays drums for Gaga now.
Okay.
He's 23 years old. His dad is his drum tech.
Wow.
And I was on a golf cart driving back, and I saw him come out like of a trailer, and I was like, Tosh. He's like, what's up? I'm like, who are you playing with? He's just like, Gaga.
Wow. Dude, killer work on the music. Babe, by the way.
that was tight.
Killer.
We've done this before.
Oh, you two are like a unit. That was massive.
If you couldn't tell. Toto, what about you, man?
I went back the next day and Charlie XCX was amazing. I thought
Insane.
Clairo was amazing,
I
actually.
watched Claro set as well.
Everyone talks about her in the band, but I'd never heard her music. And I was like, I'm not even going to listen beforehand. I'm just going to go and see the concert. And stage design was beautiful.
Yeah.
She's got a great voice. I liked the songs. I had no idea what to expect, but I really loved it.
Oh man, I got to say Gaga as well, but it's already been said. one
Sorry.
notable thing that happened though was the other boys in the band nearly got hit by a firework.
Dude,
from
I was
Green
there.
Day.
Hold on. So we're in the artist compound.
Yeah. We have an insane video of this.
So do I.
Yeah.
So for everyone listening who maybe wasn't at Coachella or looked online, Green Day was shooting off fireworks.
Yeah.
And if you're
So many fireworks. It was crazy.
if you were backstage hanging out with your friends, one almost hit you and lit a palm tree on fire right out front of someone's trailer.
Pat said like if he was 20 meters to the right, he could have died.
Yeah, I was 5 feet away from it. My friend Zach was leaning on the palm tree.
Oh my
No
god.
way.
So I have a video of the palm tree on fire, and you could see him walk away holding his ear.
Wow.
Insane.
Because it was crazy. Me and Louie were walking past like the backstage or like behind the stage of Green Day, and we were just seeing these fireworks go off, and I was like, this looks suspect. I'm really not sure about this. Like, who's checking this? And then like got back and realized that had happened. I was like, yeah, man.
Well, I'm thankful you guys made it here to the Travis Mills Show.
We all survived.
And yeah, you're in one piece for weekend two. Throughout our convo, we're going to be playing songs from your festival playlist. And I want to start with Overnight, more with Parcels right after this.
The minute I was thinking to hold you back, the moment I was wishing it's overnight.
Overnight right there by my in-studio guest, Parcels. Now, as you guys are putting together your Coachella set list, talk to me about the intro and wanting to start it with a song like Overnight.
We've had just like the last 10 years of trying out songs on different tours in different orders, and the first song is really tough because you have to give something, you can't give too much, you don't want to kind of peak too early. Overnight is like danceable, but it's always pretty kind of like low key, you know? So we thought it was a good one. We put like quite a big epic build intro into it.
Yeah.
So the piece that we played at Coachella was like 7 minutes long, I guess. And then we kind of come back to it at the end to bookend our set. But yeah, Overnight felt like a perfect one.
I was seeing stuff online, and correct me if I'm wrong, but this is still credited as Daft Punk's last ever produced track.
Yeah, wow.
I guess so.
I forget that sometimes.
No, I swear, didn't they do some stuff with The Weeknd after that?
But that came out before Overnight.
Right.
Actually, so we recorded that before they went and recorded with The Weeknd, but then it came out afterwards. So I don't know.
I mean, take me back to when you make a song like this. Like, what's going through your heads?
We were so young. I mean, it was like 8 years ago now, right?
Yeah.
It was before we even recorded our first EP.
Yeah.
It was 2017, right?
It was like the first professional studio we had even been in together. So we were just tripping out and flipping and trying our best to make it work. Yeah.
Yeah, amazing kind of role models for a way to look at not only making music, but just like releasing music and how to kind of exist in the world. And they have just, they've given us just some beautiful guidance about existing as a band.
Well, I mean, yeah, especially as a young band, you know, meeting two absolute legends, you know, who've been doing this. Was there a piece of advice that they gave you that you've carried with you throughout this time?
The thing that I remember most, and it doesn't fully apply to what we do, but Thomas said like, oh, you know, I can't remember what it was word for word, but he was like, he's like, you cannot judge us on the tracks that we've released. Like, it's about the ones that we haven't released, you know? Like, and I guess it's really particular for them, but they're so particular about everything that goes out is just like at 100%, and there's no faltering. Like, in my opinion, every release is just perfection, and that's so important to them, you know? But I remember thinking, wow, like, I wonder what they haven't released.
What's on the hard drive?
What's on the hard drive?
Hard drives.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they just gave us endless, like, little, like, we spent a week in the studio with them kind of working on that song. And, like, throughout our whole kind of history as a band, these little, like, one-liners or, like, moments from them just keep coming up, even, like, 5-6 years later. And yeah, we'll just be like, oh, that's what he meant when he said that.
Yeah, sometimes you like learn what he meant like 8 years later.
Oh, this is what they were talking about.
Oh, that's what he's talking about. And you're like, you have to like go back to that time in the studio. I think a big thing was also just following the song, like allowing the song to be what it would be, kind of being honest with what it was and following it rather than like trying to force it and mold it into something that it wasn't.
Yeah. I mean, it was my first Coachella, you know, this last weekend, but you guys are no strangers to this. One of the most influential festivals in the world. It is your second time. You guys performed there first in 2019. What was the difference this time around versus the first time you played Coachella?
Bigger stage.
We had an amazing slot this year.
We were like talking to our agents. We're like, man, thanks. Did so good with that slot. Like, much appreciated. 2019, we were in the Gobi's tent, and like it was a bit earlier, but it was like crazy amount of energy. I guess we were less known at that time and felt really exciting. There was no pressure on us, but really just like delivered this amazing thing, and we had the best time. There was a bit more pressure, it felt like, getting that slot and playing last on the outdoor stage. More expectation, bigger production, more lights, more stage crew, like really a lot of pressure for us.
Yeah, we were nervous.
Good.
I think we probably weren't as nervous last time.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't think we...
Oh, I think it'd be the opposite. Like, first time playing Coachella, you'd be like,
we were nervous,
but
but this was bigger deal somehow. Yeah.
I don't think we even understood what Coachella was last time. We were like, oh, all the booking agents seem really excited about this one particular festival. And then we got there, and, you know, we also have seen the lineups over the years.
Of course.
But for me, the biggest difference between playing this year and 6 years ago was in 2019, we didn't have a hotel. We were sleeping on our tour bus in the parking lot. We were the only band sleeping on our tour bus. And and somehow every day we kind of had to like. There was something with the meal tickets. Like we couldn't afford to be buying our own food, so we were sneaking in to get extra.
Because you only get catering on the day that you play.
We were jumping the fence to the catering
That's
area.
right. We were remembering this. We were remembering this just before. We found like a little hole in the fence between our bus and the catering, and we were like in there.
Yeah, we spent the whole weekend just getting food because.
And then we'd like go to, I remember like specifically going for like showers in the early morning, and like I'd have like I'd be like wearing my underwear or like a towel over my shoulder, and you'd see like Justin Bieber and like Hailey Bieber sitting on things. You're like, I shouldn't be here. Like, this is not. So this year felt different in that sense. We were probably a bit more.
Hey, Bieber's still out there just hanging out, man.
still there.
I still saw him on a buggy this time as well. Yeah.
I want to get to another song that everyone got to hear during your Coachella set this weekend. You were speaking about lights, but this one right here is called Lighten Up. More with Parcels right after this.
So let's just
Tied up right now, right there, by my guests in the Apple Music Studios, Parcels. One of our team members here at Apple Music who works on the show said the following about your performance. I'm going to quote them for a second, give them a shout out. They were front row, and they said, and I quote, "They looked like they were having a great time. It was a lovely night, a full moon, etc. Vibes were high, and they appreciated everyone being present."
Oh.
Would you say that's accurate?
Yeah, big time. We'd kind of the last couple shows before Coachella, we were like, oh, like why isn't kind of more people dancing? Like, and we had some quite big festival slots, and they were a little bit tough just for us as a band. Not to say that the gigs didn't go well, but this one we kind of walked out and it was like an instant dance party, like, but also a really big crowd. But somehow people managed to have so much space around them, and everyone was moving. And I think at Coachella we were also expecting a few phones, you know, it's got that kind of vibe, but
Of course.
there wasn't. We were just like, you know, in certain moments, but it was really, you could see like an ocean of presence.
That's awesome.
I think we got lucky partly with our set slot too, because there was no one after us, and so no one's there to see the act after us. Sometimes you get that if you're maybe, you know, second last or whatever. There's a whole bunch of fans waiting for that last act, and luckily for us, whoever was there
Was there.
There was
Yeah, they were there.
no one to wait
There was
for.
like a Friday night energy going on as well. Just, yeah, a lot of things lined up. And the full moon was out. That was also a big thing.
Do you guys have any rituals before a set? Is there anything that you guys have been doing since the
actually
beginning of the band?
We're
On
between
the-
rituals right now.
We're on the search for a new ritual. we used to do some pretty wild stuff,
What'd you do?
which was like it was a whole bunch of inside jokes all like smashed together in this like weird hype up thing that was like 5 minutes long, and like it was like, and then we've done some like
Closer to musical theatre, what we used to
that's
do
like-
before a set.
kind of a chanting ritual. But yeah, then we wanted to like, that was becoming a bit much for us. So then we started going to more of group breathing exercises.
Which stressed me out, so I put a stop to the group breathing.
Dude, what's crazy is so I did like a bunch of those like breathing, you know, like meditative kind of
Yeah.
breathing sessions. But it's crazy because you get like lobster hands if you do like breath work and stuff.
what's lobster hand?
Lobster, it's like, have you ever done like a breathwork session that's like 30 or 45 minutes long, and it's an out of body experience? I've cried before doing it, but your hands kind of like seize up. It's weird. You like lose feeling inside of your
Oh,
arm.
yeah.
You felt that, Toto?
Not specifically with my hands, but that's the vibe I get when we all sit before the gig. Is like, actually, I need to be standing. I need my body to be moving now, and instead, I'm kind of like solidifying a little bit.
All the blood's going to your major organs.
Yeah, which is no good if you have to go and then play drums, you know.
For sure. What's the difference between, I mean, Coachella, obviously the artist compound, you know, everyone's hanging out. You guys got like trailers back there. It's a lot different than, you know, being in a venue and upstairs in the green room and it kind of a sterile place. You know, how have you guys found that?
It's a great vibe there. I quite like it. That's why we purposefully like stayed out at the festival for that first weekend, because it's such a cool place just to be around. You meet people that you've always wanted to meet, and there's a real feeling of that the whole music industry is like standing around in that music artist compound thing.
Was there a highlight of like a new friendship or a new connection that happened?
We met Joe,
Dude,
who's
incredible.
who we've kind of like been trying to meet. Even last Coachella 2019, we were like texting, like, what stage are you at? Like, let's try and meet up. And this time we finally just like tapped me on the shoulder on the way into the artist compound, and we managed to have a good catch up and chat, and it felt like we're really in alignment. I feel like he feels like one of our band members quite quickly.
Wow.
Yeah, he seems like a cool guy.
I love everything that Joe's doing. I mean, we play the music on the show all the time, and I just missed his set. If I would have gotten on a golf cart, I would have made the end of his
Those
set.
golf carts make all the
Never missed a
difference.
golf cart.
Yeah. You guys played Safe and Sound, one of your newest songs. And it was a song that the official Coachella socials this weekend had posted for everyone to see. Tell me about the making of this song before we press play on it.
This is a beautifully written song by Jules. I've done many interviews with him in the last couple of weeks, so I think I can
convey his intention.
You're speaking through you right now.
The song's about like I guess the unknown, and how the unknown used to really freak him out, and it was quite like anxiety inducing. But basically went through an experience and then has kind of learned to embrace the unknown as this kind of beautiful phenomenon. And yeah, he listened to a podcast, and it kind of put him on this train of thought, which led to the writing of this song.
You know what's crazy? I think I listened to the exact same podcast
No way.
that you're describing. I'll pull it up when we're listening to it, but the
It's
sentiment.
like Tom Lutz or something.
I think you're exactly right, and I stumbled upon it on complete accident. Just popped up in my algorithm, and it completely changed my perspective on a lot of stuff, because everything magic in my life has come from just embracing the things that I don't know, and I think there's a lot of power in that. So to hear you kind of contextualize it, it's a beautiful thing, man.
Yeah, I think it's I don't know. It seems like when I listened to the song for the first time, I could feel there was something special there, and that it had kind of come from a real place.
When you guys started Parcels, I mean, was stuff like this ever just like at the forefront of your mind? Did you ever think that you'd be playing Coachella and touring all over the world? And
I think we did, and that's why it happened. I feel there was a kind of a certainty to me sometimes, and an inevitability about it, by just sheer tenacity and belief. Like we had Glastonbury, wanting to play Glastonbury on the fridge when we moved to Berlin early days, and just knowing that we had these goals, and sometimes that's what it takes, I feel.
yeah, you might not know how you're going to get there,
Yeah.
but you're going to get
Yeah,
there.
there was just like every single day, I don't think many of us didn't think it wasn't going to happen, and sometimes you just have to have belief.
I love it. Well, we're going to press play on this one more with Parcels right after this. Back here with Parcels. Something that I noticed just about all your song titles and stuff is you guys hate spaces.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely hate them.
We're trying to fill the space conceptually.
Where did that come from?
Look, it originated as a broken spacebar on a laptop.
No way.
Yeah, but actually, I like to think it's turned into the creation of new words and kind of giving words new meaning when you put them together.
Have you ever changed the title because it didn't look right?
Many times.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or just like too long, more often than not, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Some things, like sometimes there's an obvious name for a song, and then you put it without spaces, and it just doesn't look right. It turns into a new word, but it's an ugly one.
And there's a weird thing about some letters, like the letter I is a capital when it's in a sentence, let's say. But then when you put it all together, it's weird to have a capital in the middle of a word,
Yeah.
you know? So there's a couple of...
And we've had long discussions about how exactly they're going to go,
Yeah.
and there's been some disagreements about it.
You guys are, I mean, it's like, the hardest part, right, is writing the song and like coming up with something that you all love and can agree on. But then you guys just took another challenge upon yourselves, and it's hey, let's make sure the titles are right too.
Yeah,
We're a 5-man band, and we give ourselves endless challenges in that regard.
Yeah. It feels like the music making is the easy part of being in a band.
That's a good problem to have. That's a great problem.
Everything else seems like a...
Yeah, there's like 100 songs and we got to try and make an album of 10. That's like the hardest part.
Well, last year you guys celebrated 10 years as a band, a decade, all the way from coming together in Australia. You guys met in high school, yeah? I have a lot of aspiring musicians that listen to the show, and what's one piece of advice you guys would give them, when they're starting out on this journey right now? Because being in a band for 10 years and making it all work is no easy task. Like, how did you guys manage to do it?
I've been saying recently, like, when I reflect upon what really works is consistency more than anything, like consistency and commitment. I feel like just showing up every day and sitting in front of whatever it is. And I think it's for all creative acts, and it really becomes a routine and a ritual that you make, and whether it's good or whether it's bad. And if you're in, I just feel like this term writer's block is maybe like a myth or something. And it feels like if you may not write good things one day, but it doesn't mean that they aren't good the next day, or even that you come back to them another time and they won't be good. And I feel like just being there all the time and showing up, like most practices, is like the aim of the game.
Have you read Stephen Pressfield?
No.
The War of Art. He has a couple books, but he talks about exactly that. And he's like, everyone thinks that the artist just writes or creates when they're struck with inspiration and, captures lightning in a bottle, which that does happen.
For sure.
But like the professional sits down every single day and writes whether they're inspired or not. And something is going to come out of that.
Yeah. And sometimes you're not feeling great at all and you're like, oh, I hate this, I hate this, I hate this. And then at the end, you're like, oh, this is actually great. Or you come back to it with a new perspective. And so it's not to like trust inspiration, follow inspiration, but not to like give it too much power,
Yeah. As you reflect back on those 10 years, what are some of the best core memories you guys have had as a band?
Oh, so many memories.
I know we're condensing 10 years into one question. Is there anything that just stands out above the rest for you guys?
It's interesting. There's like, because there's 5 of us, it's not often that like everybody is in the same state of mind, let's say. But my favorite memories are when I have this like collective feeling of the group of us, that it's like, okay, we're all really feeling this right now. And it happens in the studio, and it happens on tour, and it happens if we find a restaurant and everyone has an amazing meal, you know what I mean? And those memories really stick out to me the most. It's like, oh my God, I'm part of something like larger than me, or larger than just 5 individual people. It feels like we really feel like a collective when it doesn't happen all the time, but somehow when we enter the same wavelength, and when we're in the studio, it's an incredibly beautiful thing.
When I mention Here For, where does that take you?
Yeah, way back.
Just takes me back to this synth that goes.
Yeah. Yeah, it's it was like, I guess that was the first song that we ever uploaded. Here it is now. I can't.
Yeah, like first attempts at making music on a laptop.
Yeah, that's what this was. It was the first time we'd ever used Logic, and it's the first time we'd ever used a synthesizer, and we had been playing music in bands just without instruments, and this was like, people make electronic music now. Let's give it a go.
And there's such a beautiful like naivety to it. You can hear it. It's like, you can tell that it's not very polished or like figured out in any way, but there's a certain charm to it.
There's magic to it.
Yeah. I can hear just us as kids just.
I can also hear the
messing
attitude
around.
that we're going for as well. We're listening to this thinking it's so like big and badass sounding, and then you listen to it now and it's
fully
it's so
inside of our
sweet.
heads. That's like the biggest thing ever. That synth is huge, and like you can hear it's just like tiny and tinny.
Well, I think we should take us back a little bit.
Drop Here For.
Drop Here.
Let's do it.
Yeah,
Apple
we're
Music.
playing Here For right
go.
now. More Parcels right after this.
Would I keep
Here For right there by my guest in studio, Parcels. You know, before we listened to that song, we were talking about just the synths and the flutes and everything. What are you most proud of sonically with the band's evolution in these 10 years?
It's funny because that what we're listening to now, it was when we were growing up, we were always playing live instruments, and then the first tracks that were made as Parcels were really an attempt to give a go at electronic music. And somehow in the years that follow, we kind of made our way back to the live instruments that were always kind of there, but just put off to the side a little bit. So we've kind of become more and more a live band, to the point now where, like, when we go on stage, nothing is pre-recorded. It's all just what we're playing. And meanwhile, the rest of the world is just going the other way. Like, it's hard to find anyone at Coachella that wasn't playing with like a backing track. Not to say there's anything wrong with that. Like, you also kind of reach a ceiling that you can't kind of take the roof off unless you go.
Yeah, I mean, the set list is a set list. You have parameters and you can't really expand on that. I mean, but that's a great point.
Yeah, but I feel really proud to have gotten this far, you know, just as a live band, and to be playing the last slot on that outdoor stage and being like, yeah, it's just us five. And it's just
nothing
these
else going on here.
And you've just got that keyboard and we're going to do it, you know? It feels almost naive at this point, but I think it's one of our strengths.
It's rediscovering that kind of childlike curiosity and just like, yeah, we can do anything.
That's what I was going to say too, is that, like, I think in the early days we were really trying to be something, or like on each of our instruments we were trying to do something. Toto was trying to be a drum machine. I was trying to be the tightest bass player I could be and like emulate these people. And I think along the way I've realized that, like, hey, Toto plays the drums the way he plays, I play the way I play, Louie plays the way he plays, and it's accepting that unique way is the part and parcel of what it sounds like to be us, and that's good. And like, that's who we are, and that it seems to be working, and trusting that, and seeing that, like, we don't have to be perfect, or we don't have to be like somebody else. We've found something that works for
with
us.
all of that freedom that you guys have on stage, you know, with this approach to live music. How much does the set evolve, you know, night after night?
Yeah, I don't know. We've been struggling with the set this tour, I think. We've because we are a complete live band, we'll get off stage every night and we'll go through the set and talk about what worked or what didn't, and we'll like conceptualize full new musical sections and transitions and tracks to try the next night. And so it's always evolving. But yeah, now we're working on these bigger stages and there's like lights and programming and all this other stuff that needs to happen.
Yeah, our crew's getting a
curious with us. We're just like, yeah, so we're not going to do that whole thing that you've worked
programmed.
on. That's out. And we're going to make that bar just like half a bar longer. Is that cool with you?
Yeah, no, we're really changing stuff on the spot. And, you know, sometimes Patrick will just like not play a section or like use a completely different feel or sound for something that we've done 100 times.
Literally for the Coachella slot at soundcheck, he was like, oh yeah, I'm going to do this thing for the last part.
I'm not going to play this bit.
I'm going to do it this totally other way. And we're like, yeah, cool, man. Yeah, just go for it. Like, good luck with that.
Some spontaneity makes us all shine, like every night. And if something goes wrong, like just a little thing, not a major thing, or if someone plays something differently or kind of like nods to us and does something different, I feel alive. I'm like, oh my God, this is live music. Like anything could happen right now. And it's always a better show because of it.
I mean, that's a surefire way to know that you're never just going to get complacent and like bored on stage.
Yeah.
You know, because you see that all the time. It's like artists go on and they have the same set list and they hit their same cues and they got their marks. But like, you guys
really dragged us down in the early years. We did a few support tours or we've seen other bands operate in that way, and it gets kind of triggering to us if we start feeling like one of those bands. We like purposefully go against it, almost to our own detriment at times. It feels like,
let's rebel, dude.
Yeah, we're just like, let's make it worse. It's got to be different and worse.
We'll have our light guy and stage guy on the phone with us being like, please, like, we just need to do it this way tonight. And we'll just be like, we can't. We need to change it.
What made you guys want to move to Berlin?
being young and being in Australia, stuck in the bottom right-hand corner of the globe and feeling like...
Shout out Australia.
We've since returned.
We love you, Australia.
No one now lives there. Is very happy.
Yeah.
Nothing against Australia. No, it's a great place. But as a young person, you feel like there's so much out there and so much of the world to see, and especially wanting to be musicians and artists and be around festivals and touring scenes and venues and more cities and more people.
Berlin was kind of the exact opposite of a place to where we grew up. So
Yeah.
I think we just needed to go there.
Was everyone in an agreement, or was it just like, hey, we're just going to try this? And
We all arrived, and I didn't even expect that. There wasn't even talk of like how long we'd be there, and now, like I've been there for 10 years, and I've been trying to think like, like what's the next 10 years going to bring? But not to say I'll never leave, but it doesn't even cross my mind anymore. It's just kind of home.
I saw the best DJ in my whole life in Berlin
Yeah.
at this club that was in this abandoned apartment building, and there was like cages and rooms, and it was insane. This 55-year-old dude with like long gray hair. I don't know his name. I don't know where he came from. Spinning vinyl, and
Jimmy.
we
Yeah. He lives on our couch.
Jimmy stays over sometimes.
tell him 5 stars, man. Keep it up.
Berlin, that's like, you've described Berlin quite well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It was magical. I had the best time over there, and it was incredible. And that's why I was wondering. It's like, yeah, how do kids just pick a spot on a map and decide to move?
It was,
Got lucky.
yeah, it was inspiring to see, not that we make like that kind of electronic music, but it was inspiring to see, a whole city obsessed with a sound and with a scene. And it's something that we've always kind of longed for a little bit, is to have a kind of a community of bands. We see it in LA. Every time we come to LA, we just meet like all the bands that they all live here. They all hang out. Everyone's friends with everyone else. And we all, it's so inspiring. And I think Berlin has that with the electronic music scene.
Yeah.
But we always felt like a little bit of we're just on our own.
Yeah,
here.
doing our own thing.
Which was kind of benefiting us as well, I think.
Well,
Times.
yeah, no competition.
Another new one that we have from you guys is Leave Your Love. Before I press play, take me back to the making of this one.
This was kind of made... Well, it started off in Berlin with these guys, and then it got moved to a small studio in Mexico, in Mazunte, down on the coast. And it was me, Pat, and Jules just staying in this like cute studio overlooking the ocean in this like villa, and just us like sitting out looking over the ocean as the sun was setting, like drinking a few beers and talking about music and then love, and like we all writing our own individual verses about our own kind of love stories at the time, and wanting to lean into that just directness and not being afraid to just talk about love so openly and directly. And yeah, it was a really inspiring time, actually. The start of the album process, it was the start of us making this new record, and there was a real like intention, the start of the intention of the record, come out through these like sunlit ocean views, and like there's a couple of Modelos.
Yeah, it's such a joyous and uplifting track. And yeah, sometimes listening to it now, it feels like it's rare that you get such like a pure expression of joy from us. But yeah, this track, like it just clicked with all of us really instantly, and it just felt really positive. And yeah,
Do you have a feeling that the destination, the geography of where you made it, like just brought something different out of the band?
Yeah, we tracked it finally in Mexico City as well, in this beautiful studio near the city. And yeah, definitely, we were just in a great place together, I think.
I think it was one of those moments I was talking about earlier, where the 5 of us were just like kind of buzzing on a different frequency.
Yeah,
but we were all on the same one.
Yeah, it had to be made right then, right there.
Yeah, it was pretty quickly tracked as well. Like sometimes we can be tracking a groove for like, it takes days or weeks to get it right. But this one only took a few takes, I think.
Well, crack open a Modelo. We're going to play it right now. Leave Your Love, more with Parcels right after this. Leave Your Love right there by my guest in the Apple Music Studios, Parcels. Now, I did notice that there were some unreleased songs that you all played during your Coachella set as well. Can you tell me about some of those?
Yeah, we've got a few on there actually.
Have we got them on a phone somewhere? Let's just airdrop.
You want to just plug in the aux cord right now?
We're a huge believer in just teasing our own music.
Let's get the guy set up with an aux cord, Jay. I mean, it would not be the first time. I just want to you want to do it?
Yeah, let's do it.
I have an old iPhone. Though.
This is how I know. It's
That's a new iPhone. Yeah.
Anytime the team starts to go like this,
Yeah, I mean,
we're in great shape, guys.
Are they making those
No,
signs?
I'm joking. I'm giving them a hard
Our
time.
management's not here.
Mate,
Let's go.
All right, block that window out.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Maybe we can show like a minute or something, so that they might get pissed if we show a full.
Well,
song.
look, here's what we could do. We could tell everyone to go to Coachella weekend 2 to Parcel set.
Exactly.
And go hear this
Yeah.
in person, live in the desert, when the sun is down, the moon is full, and the stars are out.
Exactly.
You know,
Yeah.
be around some people that you love and go experience it. Oh, but the guys are plugging in the phone anyway, and then here we go.
It's gonna work.
What's this called?
This is called "You Got Me Feeling."
You got me feeling.
Preview on Apple Music.
Wow.
Oh yeah, nice delay happening there.
Amazing.
We can't give the whole thing away, man.
No. You
Well,
gotta wait.
that's pretty exciting for us. We've never teased something like that, so we can see people are feeling uncomfortable.
It's funny live because it's the most exciting thing us to play new songs, but for the audience, it's the least exciting part of the show. So
Yeah,
Well, I feel like they're trying to like kind of catch up in real time, and they're like digesting
Yeah,
the
I think
song.
it's the thing we had to learn. It's like they're hearing this for the first time, and they're not gonna have that, partying feeling that you have when you already know a song and love it.
I mean, what's cool is that if people are out there who are going both weekends, now when they go see you on Friday night for weekend 2, they're gonna know it already.
Yeah,
Totally.
exactly.
how many people go 2 weekends? You reckon in a row?
Dude, I don't know, because I said that I would never do it, but now I'm contemplating it.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing, and this is what I didn't know because it was my first time at the festival. The stages are so far apart.
Yeah.
So there's so many artists that I wanted to see, but maybe someone ends at 5:45 and the next act starts at 5:50.
Mm-hmm.
By the time I get over there, the set's almost over, and so I get to catch like 2 songs.
Yeah. You need the 2 weekends to see everybody.
You really
Absolute
do.
necessity.
I want to know this because I've never played Coachella. Do you guys feel like weekend 1 or weekend 2 is more fun for you as a band?
Well, we don't. They say weekend 2 is the true music fans, and for the first weekend is mostly more like VIPs, and so I'm anticipating weekend 2 being a lot more lit. But
I remember,
do you remember
last time we played, it definitely was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I also think if you have a good show, you get a bit of a buzz, and then weekend 2 feels more special because more people are coming to check it out and they're excited.
Yeah, we had a lot of pressure just before this Coachella performance because we had a new stage design and it was the first time we could test out everything. And so for us, it went like swimmingly. We had such an amazing time. So maybe now the pressure has been shared and we're ready for weekend 2 with like not the kind of
Nerves that we had
but
before.
more just excitement.
There's definitely something about those festivals too that are really long as well, where bands play a bunch of different times. There's a few festivals in Australia like that. And by the third time, like the crowds are building each time, and you
Yeah.
realize that through word of mouth, people are talking, and by their last show, it's like really, really big. And I like that anticipation, or the way that a band could kind of, through word of mouth or hype or whatever, kind of build a reputation throughout that time period. And
I mean, we're talking a big game. We could get there next weekend and everyone's decided to go to Lady Gaga.
it very well could happen for that, because Lady Gaga's show is being called like the best
clearly
show of all time.
an incredible piece of art.
I don't think that's gonna happen.
It could
guys.
could backfire.
Yeah.
Not to say that we would be that band. Yeah, it's most likely going to be Lady Gaga.
Well, we teased some new music that's not out yet. I know you guys are in the process of making a new album. We were talking about Berlin, we were talking about Mexico and Australia. What's something you could tell us just to get us ready for the new project?
I would say it's kind of like Parcels back to our most authentic self in a way. I feel like we've been on a bit of a journey the last couple of years in terms of putting out like live dance records and very conceptual double albums. So this one feels a lot more kind of just pure and direct, and more to what we kind of naturally have inside of us, and more together as a group, more live, more tracked live, more like us all singing in one room, and like there's a lot of ad-libbing and a lot of energy, and so it feels pure in that way.
That's amazing, man. And I feel like the biggest reward, for locking yourselves in studios and, pouring your heart and soul into a record is getting to take it on the road. And I know that you're going to be touring, your biggest show during your North American tour. Is Coachella an indicator of what people can expect on the tour?
I think when we play our own shows, we like to push further into like musical journeys, and we have a little longer. It's quite tough for us to play just a 60-minute set. We love to play 75, 90 minutes, maybe 90 is too long. But so if you come and see us live, then it's also like a bunch of Parcels heads. And so people kind of understand our songs, and then also how we've shifted them for the live performance. So it's like our festival set is also a vibe in its own way, but I really enjoy playing for our hardcore fans.
Yeah, you were talking off air about how long our songs are. In the live set, double as long.
Double as long. I'm going to start taking the Parcels approach to my radio show. Like today, maybe it's an hour. Tomorrow's episode might be an hour and 4 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
And then, next week it might be 55. I don't know. I'm just going to keep these guys guessing.
Take it.
That's the way.
People love that.
Yeah, you guys could do that, right? Yeah. Just move with it. Gentlemen, congratulations on an epic Coachella performance. I wish you nothing but the best of luck on weekend 2. I appreciate the time of you guys coming to the studio. It's great getting to meet you and just kind of talk about everything that's been going on with the band. And yeah, thank you so much. I'm so grateful to have you guys in here.
Great to hang out, man. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, absolute pleasure.
Yeah.
What a fun way to spend an afternoon.
Yeah, right. Well, I'm going to end it with a song that's got some eyes in it. I Know How I Feel by the guys in Parcels. Thank you guys.